Sacred Huff is a graduate of the University of Alabama in Huntsville. She earned a Bachelor of Arts in Sociology with a concentration in Law and Justice. Next month, she will begin law school at George Washington University School of Law in Washington, D.C. Sacred intends to specialize in constitutional and civil rights law, and she has become an absolute inspiration to me. She came in a couple of months ago when I was working on school supplies, and I was a little stressed and really thinking, oh my gosh, what have I done? How are we going to grow this to Georgia and Mississippi this year? Because we already serve the whole state of Alabama, and we're more than 50 counties plus in Tennessee. And that was a little overwhelming. And she said, that's the first time I ever heard of you. I said, really? And that was just what I needed at the very moment that I needed it. So I asked her to come back. She has already moved to D.C., but I said, you can go if you promise to come back. And so they got in last night. And so I would like to introduce you to one of my inspirations, Sacred Huff.
First, I want to do a very special thank you to Lee Marshall. She has truly helped me tremendously, and I will forever be grateful for that. And I must admit that I thought for a very long time, what am I going to say? Now that I have this opportunity, what could I possibly say? And I wrote a different speech. And then I thought about telling some jokes, but I'm not really that funny, so that didn't work out. So I have a reputation for being quite unconventional. So I'm gonna try something different today. And what I have prepared is a letter. And this letter is addressed to my younger self, the self I was when I sat in the room back in 2009. And just to put the letter in context, I have to confess that I was a problem child. Any of my social workers will attest to that. I was always thrown out of my foster homes, thrown out of my group homes. I fought a lot. I was in trouble in school, if you can believe that. I stayed in trouble. In-school suspension was my home. I was suspended a lot, but the issues that I faced on the outside was nothing compared to what I battled on the inside, because I suffered deeply with depression. And it forced me to confront my inner demons. And once I did, that's when I was able to turn my whole life around. So I went on this very personal spiritual journey. And one thing I realized is that I couldn't cope with the abuse from my childhood. But once I began to confront these and work in the source and the root of all my problems, I realized that all these physical scars had disappeared, but those emotional scars is what remained. And again, once I dealt with those, that's when I realized that I could change. So one thing I want to say is that any of you, especially to the scholarship recipients, any of you can do anything that you truly set your mind to. And that's not just a catchphrase. I've witnessed it firsthand. And even though this letter is addressed to my younger self, I pray that it resonates to somebody else and that you're able to receive it, because a lot of these things are things that I needed to hear. And even though I didn't hear them, I'm saying them to you so that you can hear them. So with all of that said, and now that it's in context, I want to go ahead and start the letter. Dear younger self, it is not your fault. You sat and wondered for quite some time, what did I do wrong? You perceived your circumstances to be a form of punishment. As a child, you pleaded with God to negotiate a deal of some sort. You told him that you wouldn't curse anymore or that you would do well in school. In exchange, you only wanted the abuse to stop. Admittedly, your unanswered bargains diminish your faith. What I wish you would have known is that somebody else's mistakes was never your burden to bear. I still don't have all the answers to the questions that haunt you. However, I do know that you do not need an apology in order to forgive. You do not need an explanation in order to move on. But more importantly, again, none of it was your fault. You believed that this was a cold world. You believed that nobody had good intentions. You even believed that you were unlovable, but yet you never believed in yourself. You can never change your circumstances, but you can always change your perception. Instead of viewing yourself as a victim, realize that you are a survivor. Tell yourself that if you can make it through your past, then you can make it through anything. The rage that burns inside of you can be channeled into an even greater force. That force is called passion. And believe me, the passion that you will develop will allow you to go places you could have never imagined. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "Out of a mountain of despair, a stone of hope." Therefore, choose to be the stone of hope, regardless of how bad the situation may be. You may find that you'll be the one to break the cycle. You may find that you'll be the one to provide a loving and safe home for the next generation. You may even find that you'll be the inspiration to help someone going through the very thing that you went through. Finally, to my younger self, know that you are worthy of love and that love never hurts. You'll realize that you'll just have to let some family and some friends go. You cannot save them. And if you jump in the water to keep them from drowning, it is likely that they will drown you too. Holidays may be lonely, and you may feel like an orphan all over again. But trust me, just let them go. You will thank me later. Not everyone will understand all of the obstacles you overcame in order to reach your destination. But trust me, I know. And I am very proud of everything you have done. Sincerely, the woman you will become. Thank you.